program we're about to take you through is a really simple complex of exercises to prep the novice athlete. There are 5 phases. First phase is a dynamic warm-up. The second phase involves sprint technique or sprint drills. Phase 3 will demonstrate all of the speed work that we do over different distances. We'll look at a complex of general strength exercises and then some Swiss ball activation drills. They're all drills that can be implemented with a young athlete, very safe, very effective. We'll take you through the first piece, which is a dynamic warm-up, and this is geared at progressively setting the body up for activity. The first piece involves a rope isolation. This is a fascial stretch. What the athlete does is using a rope, wrapping it on the foot. Athlete pulls back with a rope for approximately 3 to 4 seconds, pushes back against the rope, and then exhaling pulls a little further, and he'll go through approximately 2 to 3 cycles for each position. Position number 2 involves a lateral transfer to this position. Again, same drills. The athlete pulls out, resists against the rope, and pulls back. Again, approximately 4 to 5 seconds per cycle, 2 to 3 cycles per position. And then the athlete pulls across the body, drops the hand to the side, elongating the body and pulling up. What this does is it attacks the posterior chain of the hamstring through 3 different positions. Second part of the warm-up, just throw the ropes aside. We'll start with a hip opener. Athlete will sit in a tall position and drop the knees left to right, approximately 10 to 12 times. All this does is prep the hip. And then we'll go to a cycle called the Core 3, designed by Ann and Chris Fredericks. It's a stretch to win cycle. And again, you'll see it involves wave-like patterns that we use with the athlete. So the athlete then from this position drops in, basically knee to heel. The athlete drops forward, holds for approximately 4 to 5 seconds, and then in a nice wave comes up, takes a nice deep breath, and exhales through the stretch, drops down. Core 3, this is part 1 of Core 3. Staying in this position, then the athlete turns all the way around and drops to the ground in this position, again to stretch the hip, mid-back, and then an advanced piece of this would be the athlete from this position taking the hand overhead and opening up. Athlete comes up, and then part 3 of the Core 3 is a hip opener. So athlete splits in this position, body upright, head upright, the athlete drops forward, isolating the anterior hip, and then to add an advanced piece, comes up in a wave-like fashion, and then drops down again, driving the arm up. All that does is elongate this train or this fascial complex in the body. Number 3 is an upper body complex. Athlete will take a Swiss ball. We'll start outside, Mike. We'll start this way. Athlete will drop the shoulder and then drop the hip away. It's to stretch the anterior shoulder. We'll then do a capsular stretch. Bring the ball directly overhead, drop, and bring the hip away. We stretch the anterior capsule, underside of the capsule, and then palm up, and again drop. All the drills are the same, 4 to 5 seconds, 2 to 3 cycles per position, moving through both the left and right side of the body. The next piece involves both a hip and a groin isolation. So the athlete's going to lie on their back, double leg crossover, and then single leg crossover. Single rule, always neutral angles, 90 degrees. So from this position, the athlete drops left and right, doing their best to keep the body flat on the ground, body straight, knees at 90 degrees, 10 times per side. Immediately after that, one leg drops to the ground, one leg up, the leg is straight. We go inside, outside touch. It's a groin and hip activation. Athlete drops inside and then outside. Again, 10 times per leg. So the athlete will then simply alternate and switch legs. Guys, just alternate. Simple groin activation and hip activation. Athlete stands up. Now we'll move to something more mobility oriented. Hands up, lunge forward. Come out here, Brock. Athlete will simply step forward. They'll go 10 forward and 10 back. And you'll see that hands are up. Hip always leads. Hand stays above the head. The key is mobility and elongate the body through each of these patterns. When the athlete gets to 10, he then transitions backwards. Doing exactly the same. Steps through, stands tall, steps through, and stands tall. And the final piece of the puzzle, again, a simple warm-up. We'll add some other things to it as we move forward. Athlete will get into a plank position. If both of you can come out in a plank. The first thing you want to do in a plank position is make sure the body's in a neutral position. So you'll see that the back's flat, hip is in line, head is in line. From this position, stage 1, you'll get the athlete to hold it. Stage 2, you'll get the athlete to simply 6 inches off the ground, lift one leg and then lower, lift the other leg and lower. Activation. And then the advanced piece, which you can add in, is a hurdler complex, keeping the position held in a plank. Athlete draws the knee up in a hurdle format and rolls out. Let the knee flare out. And that is warm-up. Phase number 1. The next thing we'll move to is a sprint and a sprint drill complex.